Behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me. And the Lord, whom you seek, shall suddenly come to his temple, even the messenger of the covenant, whom you delight in. Behold, he shall come, says the Lord of hosts. But who may abide the day of his coming? And who shall stand when he appeareth? For he is like a refiner's fire, and like fuller's soap. And he shall sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. And he shall purify the sons of Levi, and purge them as gold and silver, that they may offer unto the Lord an offering in righteousness.
Shalom, shalom. Like, share, subscribe, family. Like, share, subscribe. Shalom to the sister, man. Hope you're well. Hope you're well. All right, let's just get straight into it, man. All right. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, all honor, all glory to the Most High God Yahweh, produced by Shem Yahushai. Right, that's all praises to the Heavenly Father in the name of His only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus. Right, we are your brothers here at the Refiners, right, and we're here to uplift our people, so-called Black, Latino, and Native Americans. And sometimes upliftment comes with correction, or it should come with correction, right, so that you can have some growth in your walk, right? And the title of this lesson is Lock In, right? And it's something, if you've been around us, you've been around the brothers, you understand that this is something we've been saying to each other for a good while now, right? Especially everything that's going on in this community. We think us as a people, as a nation, that's one thing that we're missing, is brothers locking in and understanding the times. Can you get that in Romans 13:11? We'll get Yatazak to get the precepts, right? Because it's one thing that our people understand is that we are the people of the Bible. Yeah, we understand that, but knowing the times, that's what we need to have a full and better understanding so we can do that. Lock in, right? Go ahead.
This is Romans 11, Romans 13 and 11. And that, knowing the time,
you have to understand, first of all, what time you're in. Right here it says, when you know what time it is, what?
That now it is high time to awake out of sleep.
Why?
For now is our salvation nearer than when we believed.
So, right, a good brother of mine named by the name of Nayar, shout out to the brother Nayar, showed me one thing with this verse is that word for sleep right there in the Greek, it's actually hypnos, which means now is our time to awake out of hypnos, out of being hypnotized, out of this false illusion that you're in, and understand that our salvation is nearer than what you originally thought. And because you know that now, it's time for you to lock in, right? And this lesson we put together for tabernacles, because we had put out a question, what do you guys want us to go into, give us a topic, and a sister had wrote something about along the lines of marriage, right? What is a woman's role in marriage? And so we did this, and I did this for the brothers, shared it for them at tabernacles, but it's been since then that I haven't put this out for everybody, because this can fully give brothers and sisters a better understanding of what they should be doing in this walk. All right, so let's get that first in Genesis 2:18.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 18.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord God said, "It is not good that the man should be alone.
Mm-hmm.
I will make him an helpmeet for him."
So the Lord said he will make him a helpmeet, right? Shalom, brother Rob. Shalom, brother Amatazah, man. Right? So it says the Lord will make him an helpmeet, right? The Lord looked at man and said he needs some help because he is alone, right? A man needed upliftment. A man needed motivation. A man needed a pillar in his life to help him from being alone, right? From being sad, from being depressed. Right, let me make sure I move this way so it doesn't look I'm just sideways on here. Right? One of the first lesson portion videos that we did for everybody was about depression, right? Which essentially is you not having the Spirit because you don't trust in the Lord, right? So depression means not having the Spirit. A woman being able to change the mood, change the drive, change the vision that a man has can do so much for him, right? Let me see. So just because she can change the vision of a man doesn't mean it's always for the betterment of that man, though, right? I'm sure multiple of us know a man that went to hell and back for his wife, and she just kept leading him to destruction, adding worry, adding chaos, adding derailment of the truth, right? Because she wants to lead him and her wants and her cravings of this world, right? She's the one that wants to celebrate Christmas, Valentine's Day, the birthdays, and it's not only for her, it's also for your kids now. And now it's to make the kids happy. Now you got to make everybody else happy except the Lord, right? Because of her, right? So he is following along with her to keep her happy, but in turn, a man gets a woman who, if a man gets a woman who he's trying to impress, then instead he's trying to show her, look, I can do this for you. I can be a better man for you. You're motivating me to be a better man, right? To get a better house, a better car, a better XYZ for everything, to betterment for all of you guys. A woman can do that for a man. And women can either make a man change for the better or break a man, right? So a woman can change the drive for a man, and all these things can be the same exact way for a woman. The wrong man can derail you from the Most High and now take you to the complete wrong way of living. So your submissiveness can also be a bad thing if you're submissive to a foolish man, right? This man is leading you to destruction, which is why we encourage brothers to have a courting process, right? Give it about 6 months at least to fully understand a man and fully understand a woman, see if this is a man or woman you want to lay with, to consummate this marriage with, right? And it's funny too, right? A side note, and it's funny that we get such a bad name as being Israelites that believe sex is marriage by people who believe that you need a ceremony for it. If you and those same people have multiple kids already and everything, and still talking about, no, I'm not married to him because we didn't sign no papers, because we didn't have no ceremony. But you laid with that man, you have kids with this man. We're of the understanding of sex is such a sacred thing. If you're willing to lay down with that man, you should take into consideration everything, his habits or whatnot. If he can build you up before you even lay with him, that would be the smart thing. But instead, we're told that we're fornicators, that we're just trying to control women because of that's our stance on it. We're actually expecting better of our women in that thought process. Right. So let's go to Genesis 3:16 in the NLT.
Come. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 16 in the NLT. Then he said to the woman, I will sharpen the pain of your pregnancy.
So when you have kids, you're gonna, as a punishment for Eve, right, and her descendants, the women now, right? Go ahead.
I will sharpen the pain of your pregnancy, and in pain you will give birth.
So when she gives birth, because of her disobedience, she's gonna have pain when she gives this baby, she has these babies, right? Go ahead.
And you will desire to control your husband.
So that's Eve's part, right? She's gonna want to control this man. She's gonna want, like, instinctively, she's gonna be like, no, I have to run this. I have to this. I have to that. Not understanding that it is because of that same want, that feeling of pain during a pregnancy, giving birth during the labor, is because of her trying to control her husband, trying to control Abel, trying to control Adam and tell him what to do, right? Go ahead.
And you will desire to control your husband, but he will rule over you.
And that's the way that the Most High said it from the very beginning, being submissive to her husband. You're going to want to control this man, but he is going to rule over you. It's not maybe, it's not and ifs or buts. The Most High's word is black and white. You're going to be ruled by your husband. That's the way he ordained it to be, right? So to summarize, men need women, women need men, obviously, but a man needs to be leading properly, right, to fulfill his lot as a husband. And so a woman can properly fulfill her lot as a helpmeet, right, as a wife, right? So get that in 1 Peter 3 and 5.
Con, book of 1 Peter.
You have some? Okay.
Chapter 3, verse 5. For after this manner in the old time, the holy women also who trusted in God.
And look, and also we see verses where it says, look at the ancients, look at the people of old, right? It constantly tells us to remember our ancestors, remember the people in this book, because they are examples. And in this case, it's saying, read that one more time from the top.
Con, book of 1 Peter, chapter 3, verse 5. For after this manner in the old time, the holy women also.
So the holy women that we see as examples in the scriptures, what?
Who trusted in God,
who put their faith in God, who put their spirit in God. Go ahead.
Adorned themselves.
So this is something to how they represented themselves. What?
Being in subjection unto their own husbands.
So a woman represented herself properly. She showed everybody what type of woman she was based on the subjugation of being a wife, based on how her role is as a wife, as how she carried it out as a wife. So you go to any establishment, any restaurant, it doesn't matter how nice and elegant the business is from the outside, how the building looks like. It doesn't matter how many likes they have on an Instagram post, how many likes they have as a Facebook post, as a family thing on there. If the service is trash, if the employees are trash, the fruits, right? If the food is trash, it's because the boss and the employees had a fault in it, right? It's one or the other, right? So in the same way, you can look at someone's house and be like, if there's problems, it's either the boss' fault or the employee's fault. It's either the boss for not leading right or the employees for not doing their job right. So in this case, it says a woman was wholly adorned when she was obedient to her man. Let's read it just one more time.
Con, book of 1 Peter, chapter 3, verse 5. For after this manner in the old time, the holy women also who trusted in God adorned themselves, being in subjection unto their husbands.
Right, keep going.
Verse 6. Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham.
So she obeyed, as the example of Sarah obeying Abraham, what?
Calling him Lord. Whose daughters ye are, as long as ye do well and are not afraid with any amazement.
All right, so as such, exactly how Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord and understanding that he is her head. Right, I had seen this meme that was like, "Don't call me baby, call me chief, call me big chief." Bro, we had Sarah calling Abraham Lord. Our women don't have the proper examples, right? They don't see their men as that, as the head, as the Lord over them, and that's one of the biggest fails. Like how I was just saying, it's either the husband's fault or the wife's fault. Both of them are accountable on how the house is gonna be held up, right? So verse 7 on that one.
Book of 1 Peter, chapter 3, and verse 7. Likewise, ye husbands.
So like it says, likewise, just the first part is addressing the women, but how we're saying it's also addressing the men, because why? both of us have a part in it, right? Men always like pointing the finger at the women. Women always like pointing the finger at the man. Right here, Peter is addressing both. Why? Because both have an equal part in the house as to why it's failing and why it's not failing. Go ahead.
Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife, as unto the weaker vessel.
So you address her understanding that she is that weaker vessel, but it also says deal with her according to knowledge, right? Go ahead.
And as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered.
All right, watch this. Let me share my screen. Okay, this was the one. So this is the word. I think, let me share this. So this is the word for according to knowledge, right? Knowledge, gnosis, G1108, right? And it says knowledge signifies in general intelligence, understanding, general knowledge of Christian religion, but it also says the deeper, more perfect, and enlarged knowledge of this religion, such as it belongs to the more advanced, right? Moral wisdom, right? Of things lawful and unlawful for Christians. Okay, so let me see. Remove this out from here. Right. So the general knowledge, you show her how to live properly, how to move properly. You're essentially basically giving her the game, right? You give her the understanding, but not only that, the deeper, more perfect knowledge, the breakdowns to everything. One of the things that was always a deal breaker for me when I was coming into finding another wife, right, was do you have the same understanding as me already so we can build on top of that, right? As a man in this truth, I've seen it time and time again when men are attracted to a woman that is cute, right? She got everything going on for her. She's stable. She has her own house, her own car and whatnot, right? But doesn't know the truth. And I've seen brothers be able to lead them into this truth properly, but I've also seen men going off the deep end because of how, let me see, because he's now lied with her and she doesn't want nothing to do with the truth, right? She can be a cross all the boxes off for the world, but when it comes to the truth, she doesn't have the understanding. She has everything you want in her except the understanding of this, and now you're stuck with the woman because you lied with her, right? To me, if she knows the truth and you can come and basically polish her understanding, which is what that's saying, right? You're able to help build her, right? You can polish her understanding and give her the deeper meaning to the parables, the prophecies, the Psalms, the more beneficial it's going to be for you as a man, but not only because she's sharper now, because in worst case scenario, this is how I was saying, I think about this stuff, is say something happens to you now and you pass, and now she's raising these children by herself, right? Is she going to teach her children the way that you would have wanted them to learn, right? And that's always something that stuck with me. I have to make sure that the person that I'm choosing to be a wife, the person who I'm choosing to be a mother for my children, for my future children, has the understanding and is able to lead your children right? So she ain't gonna go back into the world because she fully understands what it is to be a wife, right? And this is a question I have for everybody watching this, right? And everybody who's gonna future watch this, right? Lord willing, you gotta ask yourself as a wife and also as a husband, if you weren't with your partner, would you stay fervent in this walk? Right? Would you still abide by the laws and statutes that Yahweh expects from you? Right? So if you sisters in this walk, say something happens where you and your husband, now you fall off and you go off and do your own thing, because you're no longer with that man, are you still going to be in the walk? Are you still going to fear the Most High, still keep the Sabbath, still do the high holy days because that man isn't there checking you? And in the same exact way, it doesn't go, like I said, just one-sided. This is both ways, right? I know men who've come into this walk because of their women, right? And now because they're not with that woman that is in the truth and was like this warrior princess for God now, because she's not in his life, now the man went back into the world. Now he's back on the block. Now he's selling dope again. Now he's smoking weed again, celebrating Christmas, celebrating his birthdays, doing everything that he was once doing now because the woman isn't there, right? Are you fully committed to the Most High no matter who's on your side, right?
Appreciate it.
Go ahead.
This is Proverbs 26:11. As a dog returneth to his vomit, so a fool returneth to his folly.
Right. So a dog is going to return to his folly the same way how a fool is going to go right back to it. Why? Because he wasn't solidified. He didn't have that foundation, and he was faking the funk. So like he was faking the funk, and it can go both ways. Is how I'm saying. It can be a man understanding that, yeah, I'm an Israelite thanks to my wife. My wife showed me this. Okay, cool. But now I broke up with her. Now I'm no longer bound to the laws of the Most High. Now this is how women think in this walk, and this is how men think in this walk, and it's crazy, right? So the proper roles of a household, right, which is a man leading, a woman helping, and a child helping the mother and getting laced up by both of them, right? I'm learning, understanding. All praise to the Most High, sis. All praise to the Most High, right? If the man, you have some?
Yeah, 2 for that.
Go ahead.
This is 1 Corinthians 11:3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God.
Right. In the same way how this is how people got to think about these scriptures. Of course, everybody's heard this verse before, right? But this is how you got to look at things. Christ wasn't questioning the Most High's decisions. It was, okay, this is your will. This is what you want me to do. That's what I'm going to do. When Christ tells the man, go to the highways and byways and bid my people to the marriage, none of us looked at that and said, what's the thing we be saying? I don't really feel like it. I forget if it's a meme or how we came up with that.
I don't really feel like it's a SpongeBob kicking his feet in the bed when it was like a robot that took over.
See, but that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, we don't do that, right? The men don't. We don't sit here. At least us, right? We don't sit here. We don't sit on the couch and be like, all right, Christ told me to do this. I don't really want to do it. We go and we do it, right? The same way how we expect our women to, when the man says, hey, this is what I think is what's beneficial for me, you, not only for us, for the nation. If you do this, and the woman goes, I don't know. You know what? It doesn't really make sense to me. I don't really feel like it. How come you see men being the examples? We're not backbiting. We're not saying anything to Christ. Maybe later. I'm going to do it later, Christ. Don't worry about it. No, we go straight to it, right? You had that?
Yeah, I got it.
I don't really feel like it. So, let me see. What was the other precept?
For the children, pretty much, right? This is Exodus 20:12. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee.
Right, and that's the role for the kids, man. Right, honor your mother, honor your father, have respect towards them. Why? Because they should be leading you properly, and this is what I'm getting to with everything, that we're able to fulfill these lots and be the men and the women that we need to be if we're doing it properly. If you can lead your children obviously to disaster or also the beneficial way, right? And that's what's so hard for our people, because we've had examples of men being trash husbands and women being trash wives and children being horrible children, right? So if the man isn't leading and the woman is, it's no order and will be led to dysfunction. And if a woman isn't following and wants to lead instead, it's no order and will lead dysfunction. You see how it goes both ways, right? As choosing your husbands, you chose your head already, right? You chose you can't go back, right? You already chose these people. Now it's all right. Can you build with them, right? So as choosing your husband, you chose your head, the person who thinks for you, right? The person who should know how to lead you properly. And as a wife, of course, you are to follow, right? So husbands are the head, just as Christ is the head and the shepherd, right? That's such an important thing. Christ was the shepherd. He's the example, right? So what shepherd goes back to meaning the keeper, right? You take care of, and the feeder, right? So Christ is the word. He is the way. He is the bread, right? So he is what sustains and what keeps the flock full and healthy, right? But a poor shepherd, a horrible shepherd, doesn't tend to his flock, right? He doesn't see where the imperfections is. He doesn't see where the defects are, the blemishes of his sheep, right? He doesn't see where or what his own herd is lacking to fix it or to help it be better, right? To perform better, to obey better, and to look better, right? To be a proper representation of who he is. Like, say you go to a farm and you see these sheep and it's just covered up in mud. There's dookie everywhere, right? You understand that the person who's supposed to be taking care of these sheep doesn't know what the hell he's doing, or probably doesn't care, right? And in turn, you go somewhere and you can walk around freely. It don't smell crazy over there. You know what I mean? Because he's properly taking care of his sheep. You understand that that man knows exactly what he's doing, and those sheep more than likely are healthy, right? Get that in Proverbs?
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 27, verse 23.
Shalom, family, shalom.
Be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks.
And again, what's diligent mean? What's diligent mean, brother? It means being sharp, right? It means being sharp. So be sharp, be aware, be on point, right? To know the state of your flock. And what else?
It says, be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks, and look well to thy herds.
Right. So be on point to understand the state of your flocks, right? So of course the flock also tells you as the head what's wrong, but only if you're willing to listen. Say, for example, you have a sheep comes up to you and he's tripping. I don't know. He's walking kind of weird. You might not pay attention to it if you don't care. But a person who knows the sheep and understands, look, that's not the way my sheep normally walks. Or he's looking too skinny. He's looking to this, to that, or whatever. He sounds weird. You're going to understand how to tend to that sheep only if you're willing to listen. And bottom line, if you care, right? But only if they know better, right? So your flock can allow a wolf into the herd that can tear it down from the inside if they don't know any better, right? And why do I say this? Let me take this down.
Precept.
Oh, go ahead, brother.
Okay. This is 1 Timothy 3:5. For if someone does not know how to manage his own household, how can he care for the church of God?
That part, man. That part. If you don't even know what the Lord is expecting of you, how are you going to be a good man of the Lord to your wife, to your children, right? If you're a single father or whatnot, but how are you supposed to be able to carry your own house if you don't even know if you're not led by the Most High ultimately, right? So a sister, because of this analogy, is, right, the woman is the sheep, right? The women and the children are the sheep in this analogy. They can bring someone in who they think is a sheep, someone who they're like, you need to get under my shepherd. He can show you how to do something, right? But the whole time, that sheep isn't broken to take orders, right? The same way how you can't just get a random horse out from the hills or whatever and expect to just ride it. Not every animal is ready to be led, right? Not every person is ready to be led, right? I've seen it multiple times where men and women can know scripture, but then when it comes to being under somebody, having somebody of authority being able to address you some way, to lead you some way, you're like, I know better, right? That's the mindset that these people come in. How are you going to lead me? Who the hell are you to lead me, right? But in turn, that's what I'm saying. I've seen it where women try to bring other women into their fold and ended up tearing it from the inside down, right? The whole time that sheep isn't broken to take orders. They aren't mentally, spiritually there to understand what true leadership is, to trust another person, to know what's better for them, and are going to allow someone to direct them right. What's then that going to do for your marriage? It invites doubt into your household. Right. So I'm gonna give you an example. So in that same analogy, right, we can have a woman coming in and saying, look, you need a husband. You need somebody that's going to take care of you. My husband can do that for you. And in turn, that woman comes in and now starts questioning your husband. Oh, he doesn't know scriptures. Actually, his doctrine is weird. He doesn't fully understand the breakdowns and whatnot. And now because that woman questioned your husband, now that original woman is questioning her husband. You know what? You're probably right. This man probably doesn't know what he's doing. So a woman can invite something that can bring down the house the same way a man can. We've seen that multiple times through lust, through wants, a man wanting more than what he can handle, or more than, I don't want to say what he deserves, because none of us deserve anything, right? But at the same time, a man can want something and be way over his head and not know what the hell he's doing, and that bring down his house, right? So a better example that I've seen, that I've experienced for myself, a woman trying to join your house, representing herself as holy, the whole time she's plotting on how to remove your wife from the established position as your wife, right? Who do you love more? Why do you spend more time with her than with me? And then you end up not being to please either and messing up that balance. Go ahead.
This is Sirach 26, verse 6 in the GNT. But a woman jealous of another woman causes heartache and grief. Her tongue lashes out at everyone.
Right. And this is, unfortunately, we're still in a position where our women, as much as we can sit there and, oh sis, that, our women really do not have that love that they should be having for one another, right? jealousy is probably the biggest and the downfall of our women in this walk, right? You should be wanting everything. You should be wanting your sister to be happy in everything. And it goes the same way of when a sister comes in and tries to help you, you should be thankful that a sister's trying to help you. And instead, we see women will see another woman as a challenge or try to seem better. Oh, you need me there. You need me there, instead of I can help you guys out, right? So
It's just selfishness.
selfishness. That's really what it is, bro. Jealousy and selfishness. Who are you to why should you love her too? Or why should you show her any love? I need all of your love. That's one of the biggest things, especially like I have conversations with this with my rib. When you start to the understanding of the man doesn't belong to you, you belong to the man, right? Is when you start looking at things differently, right? What was the Sirach precept he just read? What did you get in Sirach?
That was 26 and 6.
Here, read it one more time for her.
This is Sirach, chapter 26, verse 6 in the GNT. But a woman jealous of another woman causes heartache and grief. Her tongue lashes out at everyone.
Right. Exactly, man. See, that if that was true 2,000 years ago, and it's still true today, you can take this wisdom that this man had, Sirach, and apply it in your life and understand that it's going to help you out. Right. So a woman jealous of another woman is a heartache. Right.
I got one.
Go ahead.
Same chapter. This is Sirach 26 and 13 in the GNT. A gracious wife is her husband's delight. Her abilities make him a stronger man.
See, in that part, right? So going into earlier, we can have a man who say you don't have a job, right? And you get you a woman that you're like, man, I want to make sure that this woman is happy. I want to make sure she's good. I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna get a job because she's gonna motivate you to do that. You're gonna be like, bro, I need to do better for this, right? And in turn, you can have a woman that's a deadbeat who is not gonna motivate you, who in turn is gonna make you just be a more worthless man. If you're okay, like for example, being in the world, and if your girl is just okay with you just staying home, you don't have a job, all you do is just smoke all day, you're on the couch, and she's not pushing you to do anything better, that's all you're gonna do. But in turn, you can come with a woman, or a woman can come to you, right? And she wants more, she wants a better lifestyle. She's trying to tell you, look, bro, this isn't gonna be beneficial for you, for our kids in the future. You need to do something. That woman is gonna push you to do something better. So read that one more time.
This is Sirach, chapter 26, verse 13 in the GNT. A gracious wife is her husband's delight. Her abilities make him a stronger man.
Her abilities make him a stronger man. So that's one of the things, and I'm gonna go into it more, is people thinking that, look, it's just a man. The man's job is just to provide. The man's job is just to provide. A woman has a very big role in the relationship. And it's not just trying to be a damn leech, right? You're supposed to help build, right? So being able to understand what your flock is willing to endure and what they're ready for, and what they're not, is everything. So a lot of the times we want to rush or force something that, let's be real, most of us are not ready for. And what I hate that is in this truth, it's always polygyny. That's always a problem, right? Shalom, brother.
One more, sure.
Oh, go ahead, brother.
Okay. This is same chapter, Sirach 26, but verse 3 in the GNT. A good wife is among the precious blessings given to those who fear the Lord.
That's one of the things, right? We'll sit there and say a wicked woman is given to a wicked man, right? This just said a righteous woman is given to a righteous man. So when a man has a wicked woman, he's like, oh, well, she's just wicked. She's just wicked. It's her. No, this says, that verse says a wicked woman is given to a wicked man. So if your wife is tripping, if she's going off, more than likely it's because of you, brother, right? So like I said, one of the biggest problems that men come into this truth and they're not ready for is polygyny. So brothers, don't come into this truth and rush to know parables, to know prophecies, to know history, to study the language, more than how they rush to try to get another wife, right? Priorities, right? It starts with not taking into consideration the state of your flock first, because they are the reflection of you, right? So your woman is a reflection of you, right? So let's get that in Isaiah.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 1, verse 5. Why should ye be stricken anymore?
So why should you just keep getting smacked more? And this is the Most High through the prophet Isaiah speaking in terms of Israel, right? So why should you just keep getting smacked, Israel? Go ahead.
Why should ye be stricken anymore? Ye will revolt more and more.
Mm-hmm.
The whole head is sick.
The whole what?
The whole head is sick.
Okay.
and the whole heart is faint.
So because the head is sick, right? The aleph, the head, the leader, the strength is sick. It's lacking, right? So let's see what the word for sick is right here. Let me take this off. Is it presenting? Okay, cool. So this is a root word, right, for sick, right? Hala, right? And it says to be or become weak, to become sick, to be diseased, right? Or to become grieved, become sorry, right? You're weak, you're ill. I mean, you're sick, you're ill, you're tired, right? Sore, wounded. Let me take this down. All right, so because the head is weak, the whole heart is faint, right? Your house spirit is low, it's non-existent, it's lacking. So we understand that the heart goes back to being your spirit, right? That's what's tied to your soul, right? And because the head is weak, the spirit is lacking for the whole body, right? Go ahead. Verse 6.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 1, verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
From the sole of the foot even unto the head, there is no soundness in it.
So from the sole of the foot, right, from the very bottom to the head, to the leader, right? So from the children to the leader, to the husband, in this case, that this analogy that we're using, right? The whole head is sick, right? Go ahead.
But wounds and bruises and petrifying sores,
Putrefying sores, yeah.
they have not been closed, neither bound up, neither mollified with ointment.
Right, so because the shepherd is trash, right, and can't see these issues in the sheep, from the sole of the foot, right, from your children, your wife, it's full of defects, right? It's out of order. It's dysfunction because of you as a man and what you're lacking in, right? And because you as a man not locking in, right?
Lock in.
Lock in, man. So because you as a woman, you weren't able to properly communicate with the head, right? With the shepherd, what he needed to hear, and more importantly, how he needed to hear it to help you out, right? Because it's like I'm gonna say multiple times later, sometimes the problem isn't what you're saying, it's how you say it. And that can apply to everything in your life. That can be a very big tip for you moving on in everything in life. It's how you tell people things. It's not what you tell them, it's how you explain it to them, how you present it, right? So get this in Proverbs 14:1.
Con, book of Proverbs, chapter 14, verse 1. Every wise woman buildeth her house.
So a wise woman builds, right?
But the foolish plucketh it down with her hands.
Right. So a wise woman builds, a wise woman understands how much of an effect she has on the husband, the motivation that you can be for your husband, right? The pillar you can be for him, how much easier you can make things for him, how much you can take off from that man's back as in terms of weight, right? In terms of stress to help him move better, right? Because if he doesn't have that weight, this man is able to do a whole lot more things, right? To help you and your family. That's what people or women need to understand. Ultimately, a man's role is that he's looking out, or I should say he should be looking out, right? That's why it's on, first and foremost, it's on the man. He should be able to understand and know what's better, what the better for the family, right? So one of the dope things that I learned when studying, when I first came into this, I was telling the brothers, one of the first things that I did was try to learn Hebrew, right? I tried to learn Hebrew. One of the first things I did, and that was trying to learn the modern Hebrew, right? Most people will call it the Yiddish, right? So the modern Hebrew, and understanding the letters, right? The letters of the Hebrew language, and that they have meanings. Just the letters have meanings, right? So the words, the root words, mean a lot, but also just the use of those letters. All right, so I'm gonna give you an example. I have 3 examples, and tying it back to this lesson. So the Hebrew word for father is what? How do you say father?
Abba.
Abba, right? So Abba is how you say father in Hebrew, and it's made up of 2 letters, right? The Aleph and the Bet, right? So the Aleph is signified with an ox head, right? And it's a leader. It means leader, strength, or just head, right? And the Ba character, the Bayet character, the Bet character, the B is signified with a triangle, right? It's a tent. It's a house. So when you put these things together, Ba is the leader, of that tent, the leader of that house. That's what Abba is, broken down even to the letters. It's exactly that, the leader of the house, Abba. And how you say son, Ban, right? Or in the modern Ben. But again, it's the tent character, the bet character, right? The tent, right? And the N is seed, is a seed, right? In old pictographs of Hebrews, they'll have it like as a sperm, right? So it's a seed, right? And it goes back to meaning the heir, right? The descendant, right? The heir. So Ban together, the B and the N together is the house heir, the house prince, the house, the one who takes up after. That's what Ban means, right? But of the house. So now mother is Amma. Aleph, again, the first character, Aleph, right? Which means the head, the strength, right? The leader. And the Ma character, or the Mem, is water. It's signified with water. So the leader, water, or strong water. And in Hebrew, how does that make sense? It's something called glue. Strong water in the Hebrew sense is glue. So the Amma is the glue, is what holds the Ban and the Abba together, right? So the mother is the support needed for brothers to excel. You are the glue, right? So a man can be a great leader, but if the wife doesn't have the same goal in mind, there is no house. There is no bet, right? There is no tent without the woman. Because how I said, a foolish woman pulls down the house with her own hands, right? Her own actions ruin the house. How she carries the situation, right? The man needs to, if let's say the man needs to work more, right? A woman will sit there and they'll say, you know what, I want a man who has money. If you want a man who has money, you gotta understand that you're more than likely gonna have to deal with a man who is probably not there all the time because he is working to provide for you, right? So, my bad, Salak, yeah. So if the man needs to work more, if you're not gonna work, don't complain when he's out there working. That's one of the biggest things. Women expecting that a man is the sole provider. You won't read that in scriptures. You won't read that in scriptures, and I'm gonna go into it a little bit more, right? So if you're not gonna work, don't complain when he's out. Don't give him more stress to worry about. You console him from his tiredness, his loneliness, or step in and help build that man. Get a job and help step in. If I'm stressed about money, right? Say I'm stressed about money, and my rib doesn't step in, doesn't try to help, and instead she's constantly there talking about, no, you have to be the provider. You have to do this. I don't have to do anything. Not knowing a virtuous woman in Proverbs 31 is basically an entrepreneur. Women want to say Proverbs 31 this, Proverbs 31 that. That woman in Proverbs 31 works more than a bunch of you men out here on the street would work, right? So she grinds, right? One thing we got to understand as people in general, the situation isn't ever the problem. It's how you deal with the problem that is the problem. So the woman who works off emotion and not logic and doesn't take the time to examine situations to see if you're building the house with your words, with your actions, or if you're tearing it down with your attitude and morale that you're bringing to the table. Don't be a constant drip. Exactly. A nagging wife. Get that precept about or if you could get that, and what a nagging wife is like, or what I'd rather do instead of being with a nagging wife, right? Let me know if you guys are picking up what I'm putting down, right?
I had it earlier too.
You just keyword it, right? Got it? Go ahead.
It says Proverbs 27 and 15 in that message.
Read it up, yeah.
A nagging spouse is like the drip, drip, drip of a leaky faucet. You can't turn it off. You can't get away from it.
You can't get away from it. The other one, I think I was confusing with the other. Yeah, this one. Yeah.
All right, this is Ecclesiasticus, also known as Sirach, chapter 25, verse 16. I had rather dwell with the lion and a dragon.
So not just a lion. I don't want to just kick it and be in a secluded spot with a lion. I'd rather be with a lion and a dragon than what?
than to keep house with a wicked woman.
Bro, there's nothing. I think there's a verse that said there's nothing more wicked than the wickedness of a woman,
Yeah, there
right?
And Proverbs 21 and 19 in the CSB.
Hmm.
It's better to live in the wilderness than with a nagging, hot-tempered wife.
Bro, I'm saying like the woman, to me, even just the word for woman, for wife, for mother, I'm saying the strong glue, the glue, that should be motivation for us in this household to understand the role that a woman has in your relationship, right? For you sisters to understand that you are literally the glue of the family, the glue of the household. You can make or break that house, right? Go ahead.
This is the NLT. It's better to live alone in the desert than with a quarrelsome, complaining wife.
Don't be a nagging wife, right? You can be somebody that is helpful. That's what I want you guys to understand. Be the glue. Be the person who uplifts your man, right? Instead of being this thing that we were talking about. What was that, Proverbs?
Yeah.
You're talking about a man that had over 1,000 wives, Solomon, and he was still like, bro, these women, bro. Right? Go ahead.
This is Sirach chapter 25, verse 19. All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her.
Right. See, our women can be pretty bad, right? But that's why I'm saying it's up to the man. It's up to the man to be able to lead and direct these women, right? So the brother Quanawath, Shalom, brother with the Malakim out there, he says, Sirach 25:22, right? When a man is supported by his wife, there is sure to be, it says, when a man is supported by his wife, there is sure to be anger, arrogance, and humiliation. When a man is supported by his wife, there is sure to be anger. How does that work? Give me that in the GNT. Let me give me the whole chapter. I want to see how that works.
What is that?
25, but start at 21. Yeah, Sirach 25 in the GMT. I ain't gonna lie, that threw me off right there. How are you supported by his wife? How does a wife support you? But there's sure to be anger, arrogance, and humiliation. Start a couple verses before. Start at 20 or something.
Come on, this is Sirach 25 and 20, the GNT.
Mm-hmm.
A quiet man living with a nagging wife is like an old man climbing up a sandy hill.
Read that one more time.
Damn. A quiet man living with a nagging wife is like an old man climbing up a sandy hill.
That man's going nowhere, bro. That brother is struggling. Go ahead.
Never lose your head over a woman's beauty. And don't try to win a woman because she is wealthy. When a man is supported by his wife, there is sure.
Okay, go ahead.
When a man is supported by his wife, there is sure to be anger, arrogance, and humiliation.
That's one of the things, right? So when a man, see, now it makes sense, right? So when a man's wife is the one that's being the leader, is being the provider now, right? There is sure to be anger, arrogance, and humiliation. Why? Because she's going to turn into, anytime that you guys argue, you're out of here. This is my house. Yep. Right? She feels that everything that give me that with Abraham, you could just Google it, not even a shoelace with Abraham. It is because of this right here, right? So if a woman is the one that's providing it and the woman is the one giving you the money, it's her house, her rules, whatever she wants. Every time you guys argue, she's going to hold that over your head and she's going to be like, well, everything you got is because of me. And there's anger, there's arrogance, and humiliation, right? Because it's supposed to be the opposite way, right? And unfortunately, we live in days where men are afraid to be men, right? You got that?
Yeah, I got that.
Go ahead.
Book of Genesis, chapter 14, verse 23. That I will not take from a thread, even to a shoe.
Get those two verses before that, right? In this context, it's Abram, right? I still believe he's Abram in this point. All right, and he just met with Melchizedek. He just met with all the kings, right? Go ahead.
And the king of Sodom, verse 21, Genesis 14 and 21. And the king of Sodom said unto Abram, give me the persons and take goods to thyself.
Uh-huh.
And Abram said to the king of Sodom.
So the king of Sodom is telling him, look, bro, take these good things and you take them with you. But Abram told him what?
I have lifted up mine hand unto the Lord, to the Most High God, the possessor of heaven and earth.
Mm-hmm.
that I will not take from a thread, even to a shoe latchet,
I don't want a string from you. I don't even want shoelaces from you.
and that I will not take anything that is mine, lest thou shouldest say, I have made Abram rich.
So when Abraham has something, he doesn't want somebody to come and say, look, I did that for you. Instead, Abraham is like, I have everything I have is because the Most High gave it to me. And in this sense, how the brother was just bringing out Quanawath, and the context of it is a woman being able to hold something over your head because she provided that for you instead of the other way around, right? That can lead to quarrelsome. That can lead to things, right? Instead of being able to build together, right? Yeah, that's always something that I've always kept in mind, even from reading that. Like, brothers will do that in the world, right? Or be like, well, the only reason that you're around, even in raps, the only reason you're relevant is because of me. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants to hear that. Imagine your wife telling you that every single time you guys argue. That is going to lead to anger, arrogance, and humiliation every time.
Yeah. And then, like, like the brother said, like, brothers be saying that in their raps, and like that stuff be influencing the people, right? Even to our sisters, right? They don't think because they got like a new Mercedes, a fat house, and a BBL that we're just gonna have to shut our mouths and have you leave. That's not how it's gonna work, man.
That part. I need to catch up with these messages. My brother Banya, hard to be a refiner, sharp as attack, brother.
Shout out my brother Banyan, man.
Shout out my brother, man. Shalom, King. Shalom, Tribe of Issachar.
Y'all like, share, and subscribe, Baba Kushad too, man.
Mm-hmm. Your brother brought out Sirach 25 and 23. A bad wife will make her husband gloomy and depressed and break his heart. Show me a timid man who can never make up his mind, and I will show you a wife who doesn't make her husband happy. It's cold, man. The Sirach be cold, man.
Hey, what was that?
That was Sirach 25 and 23. Shalom, family. Rather be with a cacti and scorpions than to be with a nagging wife. It's crazy. Shalom, the good brother Dakar, man. Shalom, the good brother Aram. Know how the brother said there's no order, truth, justice, and righteousness here on earth because America does everything wrong and backwards. Right, man. Right. You got something else? Okay. So give me 1 Peter 5 and 2.
Con. This is the book of 1 Peter, chapter 5, verse 2. Feed the flock of God, which is among you, taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly, not for filthy lucre, but of ready mind.
Right.
Neither as being lords over God's heritage, but being in samples to the flock.
Right. So in this case, right, it's obviously being in a church leader setting, right, of a group setting, of a, like in our case, a camp setting, but this can also apply for you and your household, right? So feed your talent, right? I had made a lesson going on to which is a powerful lesson. If you guys haven't checked it out, it's called 144K, I think, or something about love, right? It's on our lives. Go take a look at it. I think I brought up a good perspective on the 144,000 on the elect that no one really goes into, and it's how to properly love your brother, right? But I was going into about our talents, right? About how the Most High is giving you a talent. Say, for example, he's giving you an asset or something that you can build and flip it and make something more out of it, right? Or like, for example, like our brothers right here, we were able to secure a building, right? Our brother got blessed and provided us with an opportunity to keep these classes and to do classes at this building, right? And that is a talent that the Most High gave us. And what are we doing with it? We're flipping it. We're trying to use that space that the Most High was able to provide to our brother for us and do these classes for you guys so that you guys can, you know, hopefully get something in turn for that to help build you brothers and sisters up in this walk, right? But in turn, like, for example, our brother Shalat brought out this analogy that even your wife, even your job can be your talent, right? So feed your talent, right? Feed what the Lord has given you. Not just physical food, but spiritual food, right? Build them up. Not because, oh, I have to, because you're my wife, because you love her. That's what our people need to understand. Our people lose what the meaning of love actually is, right? Because you chose to have that woman, you chose to crawl into that bed with her and lay with her. Nobody is forcing you guys to lay together. You wanted to do that, right? So how are you going to complain about your job as a husband when it comes to you being a husband, right? So do it because you know you have a duty to that woman that you love. You want to see her do great. So do that and be a good overseer, right? That's what an officer is an overseer. That's why we had the understanding of if you can't lead, oversee a group of men, you have no business trying to lead a woman, right? But if you can lead a group of men, right, you for sure can lead one woman, right? There's nothing that's going to be able to stop you from doing that, right? But niggas want to skip the learning process and go straight to trying to be a boss, trying to be a chief, right? When you don't have the understanding of the basics, right? You want to cook, but you don't have the recipe. These aren't, and this is one of the main points right here, right? These aren't just women. These are God's princesses.
Right.
These are sisters, right? So before she was your wife, she was a sister. Doesn't mean now when she's your wife, you forget that and treat her like crap. She's a daughter of Zion, and niggas act like the Lord ain't watching you, bro.
Right.
All right, so let me catch up a little bit. Tribe of Issachar says Titus 2:5, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husband, that the word of God be not blasphemed, right? So carry yourselves good as a good sister in this truth, right? Shalom to the sister Aina. Shalom, family. Good to see you in here. I'm listening, cooking before the Shabbat. Shalom, sister Tanya. But that's one of the, that's a big problem that I see with this, right? Read that 1 Peter 5:2 again one more time.
Okay. This book of 1 Peter, chapter 5, verse 2.
Mm-hmm.
Feed the flock of God which is among you, taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint,
Not by just brute force, right? You have to be a compassionate man in this, right? Go ahead.
but willingly, not for filthy lucre,
right? Not just for money. And like I said, this is in the term of a church, but you can take this as, don't try to just be like, well, show everybody, oh, look, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, or try to seem better, right? Do it because it's your job to do that, right? Go ahead.
not for filthy lucre, but of ready mind.
Mm-hmm.
Neither as being lords over God's heritage,
Not because I'm the man and you just do what I say so now, right? Go ahead.
but being examples to the flock.
That's one of the key points of being sure that you're the man that you're supposed to be able to lead according to doctrine, according to what the word actually says, right? And that's one of the biggest things. Your wife turns into your wife and you forget that she's a daughter of the Most High. You forget that she's a princess of Zion, right? You stop treating her with the respect that she deserves as that, right? And in turn, what's going to happen? She won't respect you, right? So you had 1 Peter 5:3.
This is the book of 1 Peter, chapter 5, verse 3. Neither as being lords over God's heritage, but being examples to the flock.
Right, so not as being a horrible lord, right, a horrible boss, but you got to be the example to the flock, right? Let me just make sure I catch up before it gets on there. Shalom, shalom.
Let me read that in the CEV.
Go ahead.
This is 1 Peter 5:3 in the CEV. Don't be bossy to those people who are in your care, but set an example for them.
And that's what our people fail to do in this walk, bro. You're a good example to everybody on social media. You're an example to everybody else, but when it comes to your own house, you're not leading your own house properly. And then you wonder why your wife is going off. You wonder why your husband is doing what he's doing, right? Trying to cook without the recipe is crazy. It sure is, man. It sure is. But that's our people, bro. That's our people. The brothers from the Malakia, man. If you guys haven't followed these brothers, man, make sure y'all do so, man. They put out some powerful lessons through the spirit for you guys, too. Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Barakatah, beloved. Mashbahaya, T. Chadawanyam, Khan. Shalom, shalom. Okay, all praises.
Yeah, shout out to the brothers of the Malachian, man.
Yeah, shout out these brothers, man. Much love to these brothers. So if you're a horrible representation of the truth, how are you going to expect people to believe that it is the truth? How are you going to expect people to understand, look, babe, I'm a man of God, when you treat her like trash, how are you going to expect her to understand that you're a man of God if you don't properly show her how you are that man of God? And it can be on the flip side, right? Like I can get on my brothers as much as I want, but a lot of this is on our sisters as well. Our sisters fail to be submissive, fail to be a delicate woman. And I try to share with my wife, right? First and foremost, I share that with my wife, and I share that with other sisters as well. As women have such a bigger impact on men when you are feminine, right? I'm gonna give you an example, a personal example, and I've told this with my wife as well. When I was with in a previous relationship, right, that ended with adultery on this woman's side. But whenever I would have arguments with this woman, it would always be yelling. She would always just be yelling, right? She was a hood as hell. And then, so in turn, I'm not trying to hear that. I'm going to argue back, right? Unfortunately, sometimes when we're not ground and solid on the foundation, you don't know how to act, right? So a woman yelling at me, I'm not going to try to settle anything. I want, what's the meme with the pirates? Oh no, what is it? I don't want peace. I want problems always. That if a woman wants problems, more than likely you're gonna meet a man who wants problems as well, right? But in turn, say me and my rib are having an argument or have something we're not a quarrel, right? And she starts tripping, she starts crying, and she's like, "Oh, you know what? I'm sorry, whoopty whoop." I'm like, "Damn, you know what? I messed up. I gotta make sure she's happy now. I gotta make sure she's good. Oh, let's make it better." Compared to a woman that's out there just trying to argue with you. So there's power in a woman being feminine. You're going to do so much more for us in that way. It's not somebody that you just want to sit there and argue with, right? Yes, help us, Lord. The sister, okay. Lord, that's me. Look, and this is, and Lord willing, these things right here are able to help you sisters out, right? Because it's, even with the brothers, right? We'll have conversations with brothers where we're trying to correct the brother, and you can do so much more for you and your group, your organization, when all you say is con, right? Okay, that's what you want. Okay, you don't have to prove your point every time. You don't have to sit there and win the argument every time, right? Ultimately, it's not helping nobody because you guys are both part of the same team. So if you guys can overcome something as a team and see your guys as a team, you guys are both win. But when you want one person to win instead of the other, or point out the flaws instead of trying to point out how you can fix the situation, you're never going to have a solid house, right? So if you're a horrible representation of the truth, how are you going to be expectant that people are going to believe that it is the truth, right? They're going to be like, this is the truth, being mistreated, being led like I don't matter, right? That's exactly what our sisters are going to say. Like, I'm replaceable because you can have more wives. The Lord wouldn't do that to you. So why would you do that to your flock? If Christ came and saw everything that was going on in Israel and was like, you know what? They need a proper shepherd. They need somebody that's going to be good for them. They need somebody to fix them, right? And instead do something like the men do in this truth. I don't need you no more, or you don't want to listen, you're out of here. If Christ didn't do that to you, why would you do that to your flock?
Right.
If Christ didn't do that to his sheep, why would you do that to your sheep? Right?
And we're the most disobedient.
I'm saying, bro.
Who's more disobedient than us? And he still didn't turn his back on us and just leave us out to dry. So what makes you think you should do that? And like I like to say, the Bible says that you're going to be measured by the same that same measurement that you give out, man.
Exactly. So if you're not willing to give no mercy, give no grace to somebody, if nobody can mess up one time, otherwise they're out of here with you, or 2 times or 3 times. When Christ says, forgive your brother 70 times 7, but that don't count towards your wife now, it doesn't make sense, man. It doesn't make sense, right? So Christ was willing to leave the 99 to make sure that one sheep was good. Meanwhile, we got niggas leaving the one for something that he's lusting for, right? That's the problem. Niggas forget that their examples we have in scriptures are there to lead us the proper way, to help us make better decisions. And instead you go and you choose your own wants, falling to exactly what multiple men in these scriptures fell to. And it literally will tell you, these men fell because of this. And here you go, talking about, the Bible, and falling to the same exact thing that these men in this Bible fell to, right? Let me see. Let me see. Or that's me. Okay, so back up here. Sis, so sweet. The sister Tanya says, I'm trying to do better since I've been in the truth. I'm much better. All praises, and it comes with examining yourselves, right? Examining that you have these flaws, right? That we're not perfect, that there's things that we can do better for our significant other, right? Trying to learn to be more feminine. Khan says, right? Sister Anna says, I was always taught femininity invites leadership instead of competing with it. Exactly, right? I'm telling you, it does so much more for us because, you know, like how that verse said, how the brother had brought out in Sirach 25 and 22, right? You're gonna have problems when you're dealing with another leader, when there's two leaders in there, when there's two cooks in the kitchen, right? And one wants to do it this way, one wants to do it that way. It's so much easier when you're gonna let that one person lead, that one person cook, and the other person's like, what do you need from me? You want me to get the roux ready? You want me to get the mirror pot ready? You want me to turn on the stoves for you? What do you need? That's the proper way. That's the proper way to be efficient in the kitchen, right? So this just says, I'm a bully, not to my ex, though I had met my match. I'm aggressive. Oh man. Brother Yaquar, man, what's up with the brother Yaquar? A lot of us need to relax and heal before we decide to do anything else. We've been through a lot as a people. That part, brother, that part, man. And people want to rush into something, rush into wanting something when, like how you said, sometimes you need to build the foundation in order for that house to be good. And sometimes brothers in want of having something and want of having something now, instead of getting the foundation ready, getting the 2x4s or the 6x8s to set the foundation solid, they just want to go get a pop-up tent. And this is going to survive the storm, and you're going to think you're going to survive the storm with that? No, bro, be patient, right? Forgiveness is hard after an argument. Man, go ahead.
This is Proverbs 24:3. Through wisdom is an house builded, and by understanding it is established.
Right, through understanding it's established. And what understanding? It's not the worldly understanding. It's through the Most High's understanding, right? Get that in Isaiah 8:20, Balakasha. Right. So the sister says, Khan, forgiveness is hard after an argument, but sometimes those arguments are needed, or those conversations are needed, I should say. Like I brought it out one time, I think it was with Dakar when he was giving the lesson out. When me and my rib have our arguments, we sit there and we have these, I want to make sure I sit there with her and we sort it out before I go anywhere. I'm not going to go to camp and have it in my head, oh, we had an argument about this, we had an argument about that. Oh, me and her are funking right now. If anything were to happen to me at camp, that's all I'm going to be thinking about. Oh, I'm in jail now, or say, you know, the worst thing happens and one of the brothers, you know, we lose our life out there, because it's been really close to stuff like that actually happening. And the last memory that me and my rib have is us arguing. So before I leave the house, I sit down with my rib, we sit down on the couch, and we're going to talk about what the problem is. We're going to sort it out before anything. I'm not trying to leave this house on bad terms with you. So if we have an argument, I forgive her right there on the spot, and I'm not going to bring it back up. That's proper forgiveness. You don't bring something up that you supposedly forgave them for. And it goes both ways. That's how you properly build a relationship, is having these awkward, these how could I say uncomfortable conversations. Bring up what bugs you, bring up how you can fix it. What are we both going to do? Okay, boom, we're locked in. You're my rib, I'm your husband, nothing has changed. Let's move forward, right? But if you're not willing to have those uncomfortable conversations and actually forgive, then you can't really get nowhere. Go ahead, brother.
This is Isaiah chapter 8:20. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them.
Right. So if you don't go into the proper understanding, which is what the Most High God assigned us, and through the words of the Messiah, then you're not going to get nowhere. Right. That's the proper understanding that we need to have in this. Right. So the brother Panawath says, Ephesians 4:26, be angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. That part, man. I don't even like not even just a son. If I'm leaving, bro, if I'm leaving your side, we're figuring this out, right? We're figuring this out. But of course, right? Don't let the night end with you guys being mad at each other, right? Have that awkward, have that uncomfortable conversation, because ultimately, when you don't have conversations, when you don't have communication, it leads to wondering, what if that? No, be straight up about what you're feeling, right? So let's go 1 Peter 5:4.
Con.
All praise to the Most High.
Book of 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 4. And when the chief shepherd shall appear,
When Christ shall appear, what?
ye shall receive a crown of glory that fadeth not away.
Right. So one thing I told a brother once is that I had to sit back and reflect on and tell him was, when Christ comes back, would you be embarrassed when he asks you about any of your current doings? So if so, you fix that now, right? You can try to justify to a man your actions, try to justify to your wife your actions, or to yourself. But if you can't justify something to Christ, right, when he knows, look, brother, it's either black or white. Did you do it? Did you not do it? It's not like, oh, well, this is why I did it. And, what do you think? You think you could give me a pass? You're not going to sit there to the shepherd, right, to the king, to Christ, and try to justify your wickedness, knowing that it's wicked, right? So, but if you can't justify something that Christ is going to have an issue with, and how horrible that day will be for you, prideful men and women in that day, if you don't check yourself now. So if you are comfortable with telling your wife, I don't know, XYZ things just to belittle her, right? Or to belittle your husband, or because I'm saying it can go both ways. Are you going to do that in front of Christ? No, you're not going to do that in front of Christ. If you feel like trash after you say something to your spouse, you're for sure not going to do that to Christ. And understand that God is watching everything that we're doing. Right, how it says it in Second Ezra, he's keeping track of everything, and everything that you've done is going to be presented to you in that day. So if you're embarrassed about it now, if you understand that it's not the proper representation of the truth, fix it, right? Fix it now, right? If the man isn't submissive to his head, right, which is Christ, and proves himself diligently at all times, then the woman will not follow suit, because she isn't seeing the Christ in you. She's not seeing the leader she needs to see. All right, so let me catch up a little bit. I think this is it. Oh, my bad. There's a little bit more on here. The sister at the water for that, all praises. Sister Tanya says, people say words don't hurt. Yes, they do. You can't take them back. Lord, I'm so glad I'm in the truth. I was cold with my words. Yeah. The words can be hurtful, bro. They can for sure sting, and they'll last so much longer. And that's one of those things that when I was coming into the truth, like it does everything for a man, and of course for women. But words have such an impact on us, right? It says your world is shaped by your thoughts as well, right? So words do have a powerful impact on us. I remember when okay, here, give me 1 second. When I was coming into this and we had people shun you or belittle you because you didn't know something, best believe I understood the breakdown because of how they talked to me, right? So, and of course, when someone has a problem with you, of course, you're going to remember every single bad thing they said to you, every hurtful thing, every intentful word they said at you. It's going to stick with you, right? Go ahead, brother.
Book of Sirach, chapter 28, verse 18. Many have fallen by the edge of the sword, but not so many as have fallen by the tongue.
Right. So people have died because of the sword, but more people have died because of their damn mouth, because of the things that they say, right? Condemning yourself.
Another precept.
Go ahead.
Proverbs 18:21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof.
And it goes both ways, right? It goes both ways, right? Sometimes, man, it's just best to not say anything, right? Sometimes it's best to not say anything. I need to master test. I'm horrible with getting offended. Man. Yep, how the brother just said, right? Through the spirit, right? Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Brother Tribe of Issachar, he says, Ephesians 4:31, let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And I think that you just brought that out to me yesterday, right? Through the Spirit, man. And this is something that I was telling the brother, we see in this community that annoys me in this community, right? Because we have brothers that have been in here for so damn long, right? Been in this walk for so long, that should be examples to other brothers. But instead, they're acting like they're brand new into this truth and will offend another brother because their name is put out there, right? This person said this, so I'm gonna go and I'm gonna make sure that everything that I tell this man, he gets. I drag his name through the mud, and then you see that how you came out is wrong and looks horrible. So then you hit up the brother and you're like, "Hey, brother, my bad. I didn't mean to. I was messed up. I don't know what I was thinking." You've been in this walk for so many years. You should check everything you say before you say it, bro. Am I in the spirit by saying this? Or I've had times where I'll send the screenshot of what I'm gonna send to Ilowan and he'll be like, "Nah, bro, that's not it." Like, you know what? You're right, right? You're right. I shouldn't do that. And this is me who I've been in the walk a good amount of years, and I've had brothers that are less amount of years than me do the same things, and they'll try to check, bro, am I moving in the spirit if I say this? So if we're willing to do that, I expect my elders to be doing that, to be checking every single thing that they're saying before they offend the little ones in this walk, right? So when you're in this truth, let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. You wouldn't have to call the brother and apologize to him for being out of the spirit if you checked your damn spirit to begin with, right? Go ahead.
This is Galatians chapter 6, verse 1 in the NASB.
Mm-hmm.
Brothers and sisters, even if a person is caught doing wrong, who are spiritual are to restore such a person in the spirit of gentleness, each one looking to your own self, so that you are not tempted as well.
Right. So when somebody messes up, make sure that you're correcting them in a positive way. And sometimes, and this is unfortunate, I've seen elders in this community try to rile a brother into acting out of the spirit, try to lure somebody into wickedness, into acting out, into lashing out at you at the tongue, just so you can prove a point. Elders in this community, how I believe one of the brothers brought it out, even as sisters in this community, should be able to show other sisters by their actions how to be good sisters. That's what I'm saying. I expect our elders to be doing that for the men in this community. And instead, bro, we have some crazy ass leaders, man. Okay. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, sister, house of Barak. Shalom to the Malachiam. Sister Anna has a precept, Sirach 20:7. There is a man that holdeth his tongue and is wise. Mm-hmm. Like there's that verse, right, that says even the foolish man looks to be wise if he ain't saying nothing, right? And Sister Moore says, I remember when we were younger, we were taught that song sticks and stones might break my bones when things will never hurt me. That's not true. But words will never hurt me, right? Yeah. And I'm sure you remember every single time that somebody said some crazy things, right? But names would, right? Yeah, words will never hurt you. But that's true, man. That's why the Most High be telling, and wise men in this book will tell you, watch what you're saying, right? The Lord might give you exactly the stuff that you're talking about, or make an example for you or of you based on those words that you decided to say. Mm-hmm. Right. Go ahead.
Proverbs 10:19. In the multitude of words there wanteth not sin, but he that refraineth his lips is wise.
Mm-hmm. So if you're talking too damn much, there's a chance more than likely sin is going to come from that, right? But if you're wise, you keep your damn mouth closed, man, right? So like how it goes back even in the world, we understood that when you're around the OGs, when you're around the big homies, you keep your mouth shut and you absorb game. That's what you do, right? So James 3:66, right? It says that, and the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. So is the tongue among our members, that it defileth the whole body, and setteth on fire the course of nature, and is set on fire of hell. Right, man? So your tongue, man, is the most wicked. I think it even says that in Sirach. There's nothing more wicked than the tongue, right? And our tongue really be the end of us. See, we got hella precepts in here. Good, man. The water, Akyam, right? And Akwaths, right? Or Akwath, right? So Yaquar says, Psalms 15:3, he that backbiteth not with his tongue, nor doeth evil to his neighbor, nor taketh up a reproach against his neighbor. Here, get the context for that. Let me see what that says. Psalms 15:3. Or Psalms 15, we can start at 2. Malachiam, Psalms 119:49.
What translation do you think?
Probably GNT. He says, remember the word upon Salaki, remember the word unto thy servant, upon which thou hast caused me to hope. This is my comfort in my affliction, for thy word has quickened me. The same way, yeah, exactly the same way life can come from words that from the Most High is the same way that you can do that. You can speak life and death into somebody, right? Especially your kids, man. Y'all got to be careful how y'all be talking to these kids, right? James 3:2. All of us often make mistakes, but if a person never makes a mistake in what he says, he is perfect and is also able to control his whole being. Right? Go ahead. Is that one?
Yeah, 15, right?
Yep. Mhm.
This is Psalms 15:2 in the GNT. Those who obey God in everything and always do what is right, whose words are true and sincere,
Mhm.
and who do not slander others, they do no wrong to their friends, nor spread rumors about their neighbors.
Right. And how hard is it for our people to do that, man? Our people, there's a verse I think it's in Proverbs that says, man, our people love gossip. Our people love it. It's sweet to them, right? So a person is always going to have the man, have you heard about this? Have you heard about that? But a person who just keeps the damn mouth closed and sticks to themselves, mind your business, you're going to be all right. Right? Let's see. Let's get Ephesians 5:22.
Con. Book of Ephesians, chapter 5, verse 22. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands, as unto the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, and he is the Savior of the body.
Right.
Therefore, as the church is subject to Christ, let the wives be to their own husbands in everything.
In what?
Let their wives be to their own husbands in everything.
In everything, right? So it's not only in the things that benefit the wife, right? It's what benefits the house, right? So one thing that that I see or I've seen, right, is that a wife is willing to be a wife and she is willing to understand that the husband is going to lead her properly and do this XYZ for her, except when it comes to things that you don't want, right? So let's say a man is depressed, right? A man is sad. He needs help in the house. What most women want instead of a sister wife is a sister husband, right? I saw this great post by this one sister one time, right? But she is basically saying, okay, so if a man asks you to help do dishes or help clean clothes or help do something, the first response a woman's going to do, well, you can do it. Why don't you do it? When a man in this truth, honestly, we have so little relaxing time. We have so much time to think about, first and foremost, my house, then the brothers. What am I going to bring for class? What am I going to do for new moon? What am I going to get for camp? What do I need in the camp? There's so many things running around your mind other than just work, right? So when we get home, the last thing I'm trying to deal with is being a wife on top of everything else that I'm doing, right? The women's role, be the helpmeet for us. So when you guys need the help, and instead of trying to have someone else help be the help, you want the man to do everything else. You understand that he is the person who has the proper mindset of what it takes to lead the house, except for when it comes to something that you're going to get jealous over, right? So she's like, nah, I don't want a woman to come help me. My husband can do everything I need of him and everything that he expects me to do. So if a woman is coming and helping him to help take care of your kids, help take care of the wife, the house, his feelings, if that offends you, but it helps everybody else, then there's a problem with that, right? And one of the things with in that same lesson, the 144,000 lesson I had brought out, if a man is willing to die for his brother, but when it comes to a woman, and I can't help a woman apparently because my wife is gonna get jealous or something, there's a problem with that. If I can help men be better, but I can't help a woman, otherwise you'll get jealous, there's a problem with that. You should be wanting your sisters to have the same amount of love that you get, right? That is unselfish, right?
That's loving your neighbor as yourself.
That's loving your neighbor as yourself, right? But of course, I understand why women can have a problem with it is because the man is going to do it wrong, right? And we've had multiple examples of men in this community that your wife more than likely knows, or your wives know, that men that have other wives and don't know what the hell they're doing and put a bad taste of polygyny in your mouth, right? So you're submissive in all things and trust that he knows what he can help in the house, that he isn't just going to add a leech and a deadbeat to your house, but instead someone who can help, and you in turn accept it. But again, this is all in understanding that the man is leading you according to knowledge and the spirit. But unfortunately, a bunch of you niggas in this walk are not. So don't be surprised when your wife thinks your choices are stupid and don't want to listen to anything because you are a horrible boss. Right? So Ephesians 5:25.
This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 5, verse 25. Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it.
Let me read this real quick right here. So this is James 4:11. Speak not evil one to another, brethren. He that speaketh evil of his brother and judges his brother speaketh evil of the law and judges the law. But if thou judge the law, thou art not a doer of the law, but a judge. Right? So essentially, man, watch your damn mouths, man. Speak for a community that understands that we're supposed to be loving to each other. That's the biggest thing that we lack in this community, love. You can have all these breakdowns, you can have all these all these breakdowns, all these debates, but you still hate your brother so damn much that when you have a dispute with each other, you start going off calling each other all types of female dogs and crazy stuff, bro. Crazy stuff, man. We got to do better as a community, because more than anything, it's how we represent the community, and not just the community, how you represent the Most High God, bro.
All right. Verse 26.
Verse 25, one more time.
All right. Ephesians 5:25. Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it.
Right. So Christ was willing to, not just willing, he did die for you. But now we got brothers who want to put away their wife because of an argument. Christ would be out there flipping your tables up, right? So get verse 26.
Verse 26. That he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word.
So you bring this word, you bring this water to your wife, to your house, to your church, and you get it right. You wash it, you cleanse it, right? Verse 27.
Verse 27. That he might present it to himself a glorious church, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that it should be holy, without blemish.
Right, so you gotta present the Lord your talents. You're gonna be like, look, God, this is the woman you gave me. This is the children you gave me. I made a beautiful house from it, obedient children, a virtuous wife that you helped mold, right, without spot or wrinkle, no blemishes, because you took care of the flock. So if one day you're gonna have to present the church, you're gonna have to present what you did, make sure that it's without spot and blemish. And instead, what do most of the men in this truth want to do then when the funk really go down? You run.
All
right? You run.
Track star.
Right? Love and disrespect can't live in the same house. Man, brother. And so what do we do when it does? What do we do when it is in the same house? When you have this toxic ass relationship that most of these Israelites have, right? You love your wife, but it's so easy for you to disrespect her. Or you love your husband, but it's so easy for you to disrespect him. Something has to happen. You have to have these conversations to where you love your husband in such a manner that you see him as Christ, right? The same way how the man has to respect Christ as he respects the Most High God, in that sense, because he is your head. That's the same way that your wife should be looking at the husband. And this is sad, bro. It's sad that we call ourselves being in this truth, but we don't love each other how we say we do, right? You'll sit there, and I'm gonna go into it in a little bit. I'll just wait on that. Right. So the tribe of Issachar says the refiners and all them wicked ass brothers and sisters would be hearing it from Paul, the apostle too, since he was willing to go on the cross on behalf of Yahushua. Time, brother. Man, our brothers pick and choose, man. Our brothers pick and choose. You can make a whole doctrine out of Paul, right? But when Paul says to love each other, you just ignore that. You got a precept?
I don't know if you brought out 1 Peter 3:7.
Yeah, it's one of the first ones.
Okay.
Con, you have something? Okay, so
You better close up.
no.
Okay.
Mm. So Christ loves the church, but that doesn't mean he just lets it go unchecked. Let's get Revelation 3:19.
Book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 19. As many as I love, I rebuke and chasten. Be zealous, therefore, and repent.
So the first few chapters of Revelation, it's the churches getting checked. The churches, right? The house of Christ. So the same way Christ checked his sheep, a man should be checking his sheep when they go off. And the sheep got to understand that the shepherd is acting out of love and not out of hate, right? But in order for any sheep to know that, the sheep has to see the shepherd being loving and a good leader. So what book and chapter is the guideline for women that most women will know to? What do you reflect on when someone says, oh, how should a sister carry herself? What is the book females normally point them to, or brothers normally point them to? Proverbs 31.
They'll even have that in their bio, but but won't follow what it says.
A virtuous woman, Proverbs 31. Let's go into a little bit of Proverbs 31. I recommend all sisters, all brothers to check out Proverbs 31. Great edification. I so needed this. All praises to the Most High, sis. And we lacked with bringing this out. I'm telling you, I've sat on this lesson since Tabernacles, but everything's through the Spirit, right? Everything's through the Spirit. Let's go Proverbs 31:12.
Con. Book of Proverbs, chapter 31, verse 12. We will do to him good and not evil all the days of her life.
She will do to him good.
Salakia. She will do to him good and not evil all the days of her life.
So it's not just when she's happy with him, right? It's how you guys carry your guys' self during even an argument, during a dispute, what's going to make or break a relationship. You can still add stuff on top of having an argument, right? Get verse 15.
Con, verse 15. She riseth also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household and a portion to her maidens.
See, like I said, everything's through the Spirit, sister. Studied this morning with my daughter-in-law. Con, all praises to the Most High. There's a powerful brother. I'm sure he's probably not in here no more, but the brother Rob from Miami Trap Stars, man, from the Servants of Yahweh, taught us something that says that was synchronicity. Watch how the Spirit moves in the nation, right? And this, I'm glad that this is working out this way, right? So a virtuous woman is not lazy. She's out before the sun is even up, waking up before the roosters do, right? And making it happen, not just for her house, but for her maidens, for the other women under her. Meanwhile, we got sisters who won't do a damn thing, don't even want to love their sisters. What makes me think that you women are going to wake up early enough to go feed another woman then, when you don't even want her to be properly loved, right? So let's get Proverbs 31:23 in the GNT.
Book of Proverbs, chapter 31, verse 23 in the GNT. Her husband is well known, one of the leading citizens.
Right, so an outstanding member, right? He's the leader, a key principle we have heard before, and especially now after all these Israelites group split, people talking about how men were hiding behind other men instead of locking in and stepping up in this walk.
Lock in.
Lock in. So the husband is well known and one of the leading citizens. Stop trying to hide behind another man. Work out your own salvation. Your own works are going to save you in that day, right? Christ says in Revelation, he's going to grant every man according to his works. So stop trying to hide behind somebody else and be that example that the sheep need to see, right? Go ahead.
Con. Verse 27.
26.
26, Salakia. She opened her, Proverbs 31 and 26. She opened her mouth with wisdom, and her tongue is the law of kindness.
Right, so the woman talks with wisdom, with her words that build in the proper way, because sometimes, or most of the times, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. All right, so the sister says, Psalms 121 in the GNT, 28 verse 1 in the GNT, happy are those who obey the Lord, who live by his commands. I'm going to leave that up there for a bit. Right, that was now verse 27.
Verse 27, she looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness.
All right, so she looks on how she can help her home, and she doesn't eat the bread of idleness, meaning what? She is not lazy, right? Like we told a dear beloved brother of mine, right? A dear beloved brother in Christ. I'm not going to say who it is, right? But when you get to that job site, don't just stand there. Find what you can be helpful with. Don't just be a wife in the house. Find what you can help to add on to this house, right? Because ultimately that house is a reflection of you too, sisters, right? So let's get Proverbs 31:31 in the GNT.
Book of Proverbs, chapter 31, verse 31 in the GNT. Give her credit for all she does. She deserves the respect of everyone.
Right. So always remember to thank your wife. She's not your slave, brother, right? She's your helper. So thank her for the help that she earned, right? And the same way for the sisters. Thank your husbands. Be appreciative. A person who is appreciative is going to do so much more for you, right? So thank her for helping you, right? It doesn't say she deserves the respect only for being your wife, right? She deserves the respect because she does everything that chapter says. So this is a summarization of this whole thing, right? The things that she does, she deserves that respect for it. Acknowledge her, right? Thank her, right? So Proverbs 31 woman is an entrepreneur. When you start looking at these things, she goes out before the sun is up. She goes and she gets food for you guys. She goes and she does this. She looks for multiple ways of income. That doesn't say nothing about I'm gonna sit at home because my husband is a provider. That would be a great thing for you guys. That would be a blessing for most sisters, but be real, the Bible doesn't talk about that, right? If you have a husband that is able to provide for you and you can stay home and whatnot, make sure that you do the best to acknowledge that you're appreciative of that, right? So Titus 2:3.
Book of Titus, chapter 2, verse 3. The aged woman likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness, not false accusers,
So a sister should be an example, right? Not a false accuser.
not given to much wine,
So not out here being a drunkard, right? Go ahead.
teachers of good things,
Right?
that they may teach the young women to be sober,
So of course, a woman is going to be able to teach another. If you have a proper representation of an elder woman in this walk, be appreciative of that, hold on to that, and give thanks to those women. I have women that I've personally reached out to and said, look, I love the way that you carry yourself, and it makes me check myself, and it makes me try to stay in the spirit because I have examples like you guys, right? I've told that to brothers, and I've told that to sisters, right? One of the sisters is in this chat right now, and she can vouch for that, right? Give the people their flowers when they're due, right? Go ahead.
Titus 2 and 4, that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children,
Right.
to be discreet, chaste, keepers of at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of God be not blasphemed.
Right. And instead, most sisters will want somebody that is a yes sister to them, right? A yes sister to them. Oh, sister, you don't need him. No, let's go to the club. Have him watch the kids, right? The sisters need somebody that's going to be a perfect example for them in these scriptures. All right. So one thing I want is for our sisterhood, right? As much as we can get on our brothers about brotherhood, our sisterhood needs to be on point as well, right? No schisms, correcting and keeping each other on point, not just off feelings, but off the word, because oftentimes than not, the word contradicts your feelings and goes against your worldly thoughts and gives you a clean-cut direction. Sisterhood is needed, but it doesn't mean to be a yes sister. If a sister is having problems and comes to you for advice, hear the whole matter. You hold each other accountable to grow. It doesn't mean agree with them right away. You ask questions, right? So the sister put Proverbs 31:17 in the GNT. She is a hard worker, strong, and industrious. That part. See that? Which means what? She is not lazy. Ooh, we gotta charge the pass me the charger. This thing might die on me now. I have the craziest computer. So if it does cut out, Salakia, and hopefully you guys are edified with this, man. All right, Proverbs 18:17.
Book of Proverbs, chapter 18, verse 17. The first to speak in court always seems right.
So when a sister comes to you with something and she's like, look, I'm going through this, I'm going through that, you're going to be like, damn, sis, you're making so much sense. Go ahead.
Until his opponent begins to question him.
And then you can ask something like, well, what did you say that led up to that? Or how did you respond? Yeah, that man said something to you or whatnot, but what did you contribute to this problem? Because the first person who speaks might seem like they're the one that playing the victim, when in reality they had a hand in that problem to begin with, So don't just be a yes sister and be like, yeah, sister, you don't need that, nigga. Show that sister, correct that sister how she can do or what she can do to better represent her household in that day or later on, right? Sister Tanya says, King Hassad did one like this about 4 years ago. He got on us sisters. I called my husband and my sons and asked for forgiveness. I mean, King Hassad had me wanting to cry. All praise to the Most High. All praise to the Most High. Yeah, and it's I'll leave that up for a little bit. It's having brothers like that are able to get on you, because ultimately, how I was just telling a brother earlier today, we love you guys, right? And if we're able to correct a brother to lead you in a spiritual way, Lord willing, you're able to understand that we want that for your family as well, right? And it's not just the men, it's the woman as well. Like I said, the word ama goes back to meaning strong water, which is glue. You guys are the glue to everything. So our sisters being on point is going to help our brothers be on point that much more. I'm different. A woman can't tell me nothing about my husband. Couldn't tell me something about my husband. Okay. Any advice to not think and react with emotions? Well, not really, sis. How to not think and react with emotions. Sometimes, like I said, is just being quiet. Not everything needs to be responded to, right? In our culture, it's you just want to backtalk. You just want to backtalk. When you start looking at indigenous cultures, not saying anything is a sign of respect, is a sign that you understand what's going on, right? So sometimes, like I said earlier, sometimes the best answer that you can give as a man and as a woman as well, when you guys are talking to each other, is just Khan. Okay, that's what you want. Okay, like I'll do and mean that, right? When you're apologizing to each other, what I can say, leave the word but out of it. It's not, I'm sorry, but I'm sorry. That's it. That there's the saying less can mean so much more in a relationship when it comes to finishing an argument, right? Or coming to an agreement. I don't get into people's relationships. Hey, sis, and sometimes in the position that we're in, sometimes we have to, right? Sis, you must learn to pause before you react. Filter your thoughts, weigh your words in a balance first. That part, sister. That part. Sometimes not saying anything, or like how you just said right here, or like how I said earlier, I sent it to a brother, I'm about to say this to this dude. What do you think about that? He'll tell me, brother, that's not in. Lock in. Lock in, brother.
Lock in.
So sometimes it's asking people, right? Sometimes it's running your thoughts through somebody else first, right? Or just checking on yourself, brother. Am I in the spirit? And more often than not, if you have to question that, you probably shouldn't send that, right? The Malakim says, fear Yahweh in anything that comes out of any of us. Khan, the Most High should be a reflection in everything that we're doing and everything that you're doing, everything that you said, right? So, let me try to see.
Precept.
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Book of Matthew, chapter 12, verse 36. But I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment.
Everything that you say in secret, everything that you said on a post, everything that whatever it may be, the Lord is watching, right? And you're gonna have to give an account for everything that you said. And that's the cold part, man. I'm telling you, most of the things that people do, most of the things that people say today, if you knew that Christ was right there, you would keep your damn mouth shut. You wouldn't have said that. You wouldn't have reacted that way. But unfortunately, our people don't understand that he is literally watching and you're still doing it. So you're going to have to give account for that in that day. Kantawada to the sister Aina Yasharala, man, she is such a great sister. I can't ever stop giving that sister her flowers, man. She really is a great sister. Ephesians 5:24. Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything. And that's what I was saying. If we don't have the choice and we do exactly what Christ told us to do, our sisters should be the same way. Your husband expects something from you. He expects you to carry yourself in such manner. Do it, right? Do it, right? So a wicked woman given to a wicked man, the men ultimately are at fault for everything. Like how I tell the brothers, if you're an officer in our group, It is your fault we're messing up. It's not the soldiers, it's the leaders' fault. Right? The men ultimately are at fault for everything. Poor leadership, not insincerity, not walking, not how he's talking. But we have to remember this, and this is through the Spirit that the brother just brought this out. Get Ephesians 5:28.
Book of Ephesians, chapter 5, verse 28.
Mm-hmm.
So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies.
Mm-hmm.
He that loveth his wife loveth himself.
Right?
For no man ever yet hated his own flesh, but nourishes it and cherishes it,
Mm-hmm.
even as the Lord the church.
Right?
For we are members of his body and his flesh and his bones.
Right? So you can't be out here telling complete strangers that you love them. Brother, I'm out here for you. Willing to spend having so much patience with these strangers out here on the streets. But you show your wife of your bosom, someone who's the glue to your house, the complete opposite. And you're not patient with her. And you're able to be patient with a complete stranger. But this woman who is a representation of you, she can't mess up at all. Otherwise, you throw the whole book at her, right? Otherwise, it's the biggest argument ever. You're willing to be compassionate with a random person, but when it comes to the wife of your bosom, you don't have that same energy. That's the problem I have with our leadership as well. When we have leadership, we have elders that show us what being a horrible husband is like, but showing a random person on the street so much love, right? Mm-hmm. So Sirach 4:29.
Book of Sirach, chapter 4, verse 29. Be not hasty in thy tongue, and in thy deeds slack and remiss.
Right?
Be not as a lion in thy house, nor frantic among thy servants.
Right. So don't be chaotic, violently mad. You can't be quick to tell your wife you love her. You will go die for her, but you don't even know how to properly love her in actions. Right? The type of leader you are will show in your house. Everybody can grow. It's how you as a leader lead and how you as a listener and helper follow. Right? Go ahead.
Did you get Colossians 3:19?
Nah.
All right. This is Colossians 3:19 in the NLT.
Mm-hmm.
Husbands, love your wives and never treat them harshly.
Bro, this is what I'm saying. And this is, people can go to Paul for everything, for every kind of doctrine. But when Paul starts telling you how to love somebody else, you ignore that. You got to look at the book in the totality and see what he's trying to show you, what the Lord is trying to show you through examples of men in this Bible. Right? Get that in 1 Corinthians 7.
Book of 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 29. But this I say, brethren, the time is short. It remaineth that both they that have wives be though as they had none.
Mm-hmm.
But I would have you without carefulness. He that is unmarried careth for the things that belong to the Lord,
Mm-hmm.
how he may please the Lord.
Right?
But he that is married careth for the things that are of the world, how he may please his wife.
So in these days, you have to remember, ultimately, put the Most High first in everything that you do. Put the Most High first, and you're going to see how great your marriage can be. But instead, we have brothers that are going to put their wives before the Most High, and we've seen it with our own eyes. Brothers fall out of this truth for their wives and end up so much more worse, going right back to the world, going right back to smoking, going right back to doing everything but what the Most High told you to do. Why? Because you didn't act as if you were single in this walk, and understand that the Most High comes first before everything, right? And if you put the Most High first before everything, you're going to treat the wife of your bosom perfectly, right? So counsels, advice don't matter if they're not taken into consideration. You can't come and ask the brother Iluan, ask Yatzak, ask myself, ask brother Dakar for advice, and when we give you the advice that we see according to scriptures, you ignore it. It doesn't make sense to have everybody tell you, look, sister, this is what you need to do. Or look, brother, this is what you need to do, when you don't take it into consideration, right? That won't fix your situation if you don't apply wisdom. How much easier everything is when you communicate and are like-minded in your goals, right? Which should be the Most High, will help each other out, right? So 1 Peter, by the sister Renee right here, 1 Peter 3:1, likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands, that if any obey not the word, they also may, without the word, be won by the conviction of the wives. Here, give me this in the GNT. Let's just make this simple. And 1 Peter 3:1. I'm gonna post something, right? So I'll I'll probably put this in the beginning of our next lesson. But it's basically the 12 stones. Deacon has sent this to us, right? And it was basically going into the 12 stones of a marriage and how to properly run a marriage, right? I'll post this for everybody so you guys can keep it as well. Or if anything, I'll post it on our IG, on our link tree right there so you guys can check it out and download it and apply it, right? Because it don't matter what we tell y'all if you guys don't apply it. Go ahead.
This is 1 Peter 3:1 in the GNT. In the same way, you wives must submit yourselves to your husbands, so that if any of them do not believe God's word, your conduct will win them over to believe. It will not be necessary for you to say a word.
Exactly. And that's one of the biggest important things. Like I said, if you're a poor representation of the truth, nobody's going to believe that it's the truth. In the same way, if you're a wife and you're able to show, look how the Most High changed me. Like one of these sisters right here says, right? We're gangsters. I miss the OGs. Everyone's splitting up or left. Honestly, I get some of them that left certain camps. I definitely did. But understanding, I just saw that first part that says we're gangsters, right? If we're not able to be the proper representation of everything, nobody is going to listen to us, right? Nobody's going to care about what we say if we're a poor representation of it. And the same thing for our sisters, right? We can't be saying that this is the truth and whatnot, but meanwhile, our sisters are doing everything that the word says not to do. You're still out here showing, for a lack of better words, how brother says, sisters can be in this walk and just be whores in a head wrap. Don't be that sister. Be the proper representation of what it means to be a sister in this truth, kindness, and you build each other up. That's why I'm saying I'll give that sister props. This sister props right here. I know because she'd be posting some scriptures. I don't even see brothers posting. Brothers don't even help uplift each other like that, right? So when I see these things and it's a motivation to us, or sometimes I'll be putting on a lesson and I'll go on Facebook, chill for a bit, and I'll see her post stuff and I'm like, damn, that actually goes perfectly into my lesson. Be that example for our brothers in this walk. That's a great representation of what a sister should be, right? But yeah, man, I hope you brothers and sisters, right, took heed to the lesson, right? Go back and rewatch it if you have to or whatnot. Take these precepts down. But ultimately, we're here to help build you guys up, right? Help build the nation up. And yeah, and with that, I want to give all praises. Oh, you had something? Yeah, go ahead, brother.
This is Proverbs 18:22 in the CEV. A man's greatest treasure is his wife. She is a gift from the Lord.
Right. If you're a righteous man, she can be a gift from the Lord. But if you're a wicked man, bro, the Most High is going to throw the coldest thing at you, where you're going to want to be in the damn desert with scorpions and cacti instead of that woman. So lock in, man.
Lock in.
That's right.
All right. And with that, shalom, family.
Shalom.
Behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me. And the Lord, whom you seek, shall suddenly come to his temple, even the messenger of the covenant, whom you delight in. Behold, he shall come, says the Lord of hosts. But who may abide the day of his coming? And who shall stand when he appeareth? For he is like a refiner's fire, and like fuller's soap. And he shall sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. And he shall purify the sons of Levi, and purge them as gold and silver, that they may offer unto the Lord an offering in righteousness.